right now. For more on this U.S.-South Africa diplomatic rift, we're now joined live on the program by Dr. Oscar Van Heerden. He's an international relations expert from the University of Johannesburg. Doctor, thank you for joining us on the program. I want to begin by asking you about the diplomatic fallout between South Africa and the United States that's been playing out in public for a while now, indeed ramping up to and during the G20 summit last weekend. What, in your view, are the key underlying issues pushing the two countries apart there?
Hi, the reality really is about none of the things that Donald Trump is putting forward. President Trump clearly is on a political campaign to discredit South Africa, and it is completely based on falsehoods and untruths. The real reasons that's underpinning this behavior and this campaign from the US president is the fact that South Africa decided to take one of the strongest allies of the United States to the International Court of Justice in the form of Israel for a charge of genocide against the Palestinians in Gaza, as well as the fact that South Africa is part of the BRICS formation. One could argue a junior partner in comparison to the big partners of BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, and China. And for this reason, Trump has decided to target South Africa, to make an example of it, and to come up with a campaign against South Africa.
Right. The U.S. president, as we've been hearing, has been engaged in a war of words. He has, of course, as we reported, claimed that South Africa refused to hand over the G20 presidency, and now has even said that South Africa will not be welcome to attend the next G20 summit in the United States. Can South Africa, Doctor, still get to participate in the next G20 gathering, or is it Trump's decision, or is Trump's decision final here?
Well, two things. Let's first talk about the handing over of the presidency. Donald Trump yet again lies and says that South Africa refused to hand over the gavel or the presidency. There was no such. Donald Trump decided to give that task of receiving the gavel and the presidency to a very junior chargé d'affaires embassy official. And it was a final insult. This is what Donald Trump thinks of African leaders and of the president of South Africa, that he can send a junior official to come and receive the handover of the presidency. And President Ramaphosa, as well as the Minister of International Affairs and Cooperation, decided no, we are not going to be insulted. We are not going to do it in front of the world media and the cameras. We are rather going to take it away from the G20 summit, and the following Monday, the chargé d'affaires official can come to the head office of the Department of International Relations and Cooperation, and he will be met by an equivalent official from DIRCO at his level to give the handover. And that is what Ramaphosa reported on, that the handover did take place and it followed the necessary diplomatic protocols, meaning you sent us a chargé d'affaires, we gave an equivalent official to do the handover. And of course, Donald Trump is upset that we didn't fall for the trick of being insulted by his administration. So that's the first thing. The second thing, to your question, look, the United States and the Trump administration, Marco Rubio and the State Department, are technically the host of the G20. And so you need to be able to enter the country. And as we've seen in September with the Palestinian delegation and with the Iranians, the United States simply ignored their diplomatic passports, ignored their visas, and did not give permission for them to enter the country in order to attend the UN General Assembly. That is the only way that Trump is going to be able to keep South Africa out, by refusing his State Department and government to allow South Africans to physically come into the country. But as to the protocol, it's completely unheard of. I think there's going to be lots of protestations from BRICS countries, but also from European leaders to try and persuade Donald Trump as we go into the new year to reverse this decision of not inviting South Africa.
Right, and Doctor, looking ahead, possibly, how can South Africa and the US then mend their diplomatic relations in the interest of their citizens and the global development agenda here?
Well, as President Ramaphosa has indicated on a number of occasions, and Minister Lamola, they will continue to try and mend relations. They will continue to try diplomatic solutions. So far, everyone that we try and send as ambassador and or as an envoy is being rejected. I'm looking forward to see what the South African government is going to do when they receive the credentials of the US ambassador to South Africa, who has already indicated that he's coming to try and persuade South Africa and the South African government to move away from things like having relations with China and Russia and Iran, to change some of our domestic laws that they feel is racist, and also to drop the case against Israel. So, he's already coming with an agenda. I'm not sure if his credentials will be accepted, but, they will continue to try and mend things. And I think it's important to say, as the president has indicated, that the relations between the people to people, between South Africa, industry, civil society, etc., they have no problem with the American counterparts, and nor does the American counterparts have with South Africa. They were here in numbers with the Business 20. They were here in numbers with the Social Summit. So this is really a government-to-government relations that is a bit on the tricky side. But we will see if Trump is prepared to mend. If he's not, then we'll have to wait out the next 4 years of his administration.